Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the latest video. As I promised in the last video, I'm going to be giving you guys my top streamable defenses that I'm looking to lead my fantasy football drafts over these next few weeks. Just to kind of give you anybody that might be a first-time listener of mine on as far as my fantasy football takes heading into the season. Those that have been following me and watching my fantasy videos over these last few years, you guys know when it comes to fantasy defenses, I stream my defenses. I don't care how great a defense is. I'm not afraid to pick them up for 1 week and then drop them the next week. Just because I don't like their matchup, I'm always going for a ceiling play out of my defense. So yeah, I'm always looking for matchups that I can take advantage of every week, and you'll definitely be getting more of this from me throughout the season. With that being said, I just, I took a look at these week 1 matchups, and I got 5 teams that are on my radar that I want to have their defense when I wrap up my fantasy football drafts. With that being said, let's just go ahead, dive right into the video. My number 5 streamable defense that I got my eyes on is going to be the Minnesota Vikings defense against the Buccaneers. Now, Baker Mayfield is likely going to be the quarterback in that game. Kyle Trask got the start last night in the Bucs preseason game. There was some thought that Baker Mayfield would come in after him, but Baker Mayfield didn't play at all. So basically, Todd Bowles has tipped his hand that Baker Mayfield is going to be the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay to at least start the season. And then, of course, too, if Baker Mayfield gets hurt, Kyle Trask comes in, and it's still a quarterback that you can take advantage of. Obviously, Baker has fallen off. He's regressed deeply over the last couple of years, and we've seen him that he is definitely he can definitely throw those interceptions. That's what I was trying to get out of my mouth right there. But also, too, when you take a look at the Vikings defense, traditionally the Vikings defense plays great at home in that Minneapolis crowd. They got Brian Flores, who is their new defensive coordinator. He will get after the quarterback with the type of blitzes that he'll call, and that means that he can get after Baker Mayfield to force him into the interceptions. And they got guys like Marcus Davenport and obviously Danielle Hunter that can get after the quarterback, and guys like Harrison Smith and Byron Murphy Jr. back in the secondary that can create turnovers when they can get their hands on the ball. So I definitely like this as a matchup and a defense I would be willing to lead my drafts with. Moving into my 4 streamable defense, it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons defense against the Panthers. These next 3 teams, there's going to be a common theme that I'm always looking to stream. In week 1, I'm always kind of looking at the rookie quarterbacks that are making their first starts. So obviously you got Bryce Young that will be making his first start for the Panthers. And I probably said this every year when I do this video. I always go back to Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's first game against the Chicago Bears, he threw 3 interceptions. And then Andrew Luck ended up having one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback in NFL history. So it's not like the quarterback's going to be bad by no means. It's just that sometimes in these first games, it can just go really bad for a rookie quarterback. And then when you look at the matchup, the Falcons have a very solid defensive line that's led by Grady Jarrett. They also got Anyumata. They got Calais Campbell up front. They got Lorenzo Carter that can get after the quarterback. So they got a good offensive line. And then they're going against a Panthers offensive line so far that in the preseason, they have looked very questionable. So I see a lot of sack opportunities. And then when you look at the back end of the Falcons defense, they got A.J. Terrell, Jesse Bates, and Richie Grant. Those are 3 guys that can also create turnovers if that defensive front is getting pressure on Bryce Young throughout the game. Now, moving into the 3rd streamable defense that I got in my eyes, it's going to be the Jaguars defense against the Colts. Again, just like I said about Bryce Young, this is Anthony Richardson's first game, so it's a first time on the field against live action. And then obviously we all should know at this point that Anthony only made those 13 career starts in college. So he's a very inexperienced quarterback. I do love the ceiling and what Anthony Richardson can become, but he's going to have moments throughout the year where he's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw interceptions. So that could definitely happen in his first time out there. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. This is, as of right now, this is a couple weeks from now, so things could change for the Colts. But right now for the Colts, their offensive line is banged up. Their starting center and their right guard were out of practice this past week. And then they're banged up at the tight end position, so we're at to see who can even play in that first week. And then obviously we have those questions surrounding Jonathan Taylor. And if Jonathan Taylor is not able to be in the backfield for the Colts in week 1, that's even going to be putting more pressure on Richardson to overcome that, and which could potentially lead to mistakes by the rookie quarterback. And then as far as the Jaguars defense, I just really like Josh Allen. He can get after the quarterback. Obviously they have Travon Walker as well and K'Lavon Chaisson. So they got a few guys that can get after the quarterback and possibly create those turnovers by Richardson. My number 2 Streamable defense, continuing with the theme of rookie quarterbacks and taking advantage of them playing for the first time in the NFL. It's CJ Stroud. And then the main thing with this is just the Ravens, right? The Ravens have traditionally, they always have a good defense. And then you look at their defensive line, they got Odafe Owa, they got David Ojabo, who's coming back, who should be back from his injury, and they signed Jadeveon Clowney. So they got guys that can get after the quarterback. And then Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, they are arguably like a top 5 linebacker tandem. And then you got Marcus Williams and Kyle Williams, who makes a formidable safety tandem. Now, there is a slight concern because Marlon Humphrey is expected to miss this game, and the cornerback room in Baltimore is not that great at the moment. It's very banged up, so it's very inexperienced. But the advantage is they're going against a unproven wide receiver corps in Houston. Obviously, Robert Woods is proven, but he's up there. I like what Nico Collins can be this year. I've talked about him in my previous fantasy videos. And then they got Tank Dell, they got John Mechie. But at the end of the day, those are unproven, inexperienced guys. So I do kind of feel like that the inexperienced cornerback room against the inexperienced wide receiver room kind of gives that kind of a wash feeling. And then you got, like I said, the Baltimore Ravens should be able to get after CJ Stroud and force him into those rookie mistakes that they can take advantage of. Moving into the top Streamable defense that I definitely want to lead my drafts with, it's going to be the Washington Commanders defense. They're facing the Cardinals. So I could already tell you guys right now, at least in those first 4 to 6 weeks until Kyler Murray comes back, I'm probably whoever's playing the Cardinals is probably going to be on my top weekly Streamable defense when I do those videos this season. So with Kyler Murray out, I don't believe they've officially named Colt McCoy the starter. I think they are giving all their quarterbacks in there a chance to win, but let's be real, it's going to be Colt McCoy that's probably starting that game, because other than that, it's going to be the 5th round rookie Clayton Tune, who hasn't looked that great in his preseason outings. He'll likely be the backup. Obviously, Colt's up there in age. Colt's been banged up, so if Colt takes a wrong hit, all of a sudden you got a 5th round rookie that's going to be thrown into the fire against a Commanders defense. And then what I really just like about it is you got a very below average Cardinals offensive line against that vaunted Commanders defensive line. Now, that defensive line has not lived up to expectations in the past, but I think they're going to really come to deliver this season. You got Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne in the middle. Chase Young's at a contract year since they declined his 5th-year option, so he's going to want to show out so he can get paid this upcoming offseason. And then you also got Montez Sweat, who I also believe is in a contract year. So you got a group of guys up front. They're going to want to hit the ground running this season. They got some guys in the back end, like I love Emmanuel Forbes, their rookie cornerback, that can take advantage of it. And it's just, like I said, it's the main thing on this is it's the Commanders defensive line versus that weak offensive line. And then you got Colt McCoy, who, he's been a solid veteran backup quarterback, but he's not going to light the world on fire, and I don't think that's going to happen in week 1. And what I do like too about if you can leave your draft with the Commanders defense is they do play the Denver Broncos in week 2. Now, I've said it, I do think Sean Payton's going to fix Russell Wilson and that offense and make it a lot better than what it was last year. Maybe it's not like a top 5 or top 10 offense, but it should improve. But let's just say the Broncos come out in week 1 and it looks like the Russell Wilson of last year. It looks like the Broncos offense of last year to start the year at least. And then, yeah, and then if Russell Wilson comes out and throws like 2 picks in week 1, yeah, I would definitely consider just keeping the Commanders and streaming them in week 2. So then you get like a 2-week, at least 2 weeks into the season with the defense that you leave your draft with. So yeah, those are my top 5 streamable defenses that I do have my eyes on as I go through my drafts over these coming weeks. As far as my upcoming content for you guys, really quick, as always, before I forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe to my channel, give me a follow. I'm on all social media platforms. You can find me at Cody. You can search my name, Cody Manning. You can search at Cody Talks NFL. You should be able to find me somewhere, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, X, Twitter, wherever we want to call it, TikTok, you name it. And then other than that, guys, as far as my videos in the coming weeks, I'm not going to do any more fantasy videos. I'm a big believer in you don't want to get paralysis by analysis at this point. You kind of want to lock everything in stone and don't like make any drastic moves with how you view players. So I'm not going to be giving out any fantasy content until week 1, right before the season. I will be bringing back my weekly waiver wires and streamable defenses and my starts and sits, and I will do that first week before that Lions and Chiefs game. Between now and then, though, I'm going to give out. I decided I want to do like my top 5 favorite like offenses and defenses heading into the season, and then I'll be doing some season predictions. Now these videos will go out later. You're not going to get a Tuesday video from me this week just because the Colts play Thursday night. So for Colts Wire, I'm writing up my game preview on Tuesday night. With that being said, I'm going to hop off here. If you guys do have any questions, though, fantasy related, you can slide into a DM. You can comment on this video, and I'll make sure to get back to you. I hope you guys have a great week. Talk to you later. Peace out.